Hi, everyone. I'm Giselle with For the Punks. In honor of Women's History Month, we are interviewing women in the arts, music, and entertainment field. And today we have Shawna from War on Women. I guess my first question is introduce yourself and tell us about your band.
Hi, I'm Shawna. Let's see, I'm in Baltimore right now on Piscataway land. I am an author. I teach safer spaces. I teach bystander intervention. And I'm also the singer for a feminist punk band called War on Women. And we've been around, I think, over a decade now. And people keep asking us to play shows. So we keep saying yes, because we like playing shows. So that's about it.
So for people that haven't heard War on Women, the music is incredible, by the way. But most of your songs like discuss sexism and sexual harassment. How did you start combining activism with like music?
Yeah, I didn't really know that I could when I started. It was around the same time that I started this band with someone that I'd been in another band with. We just kept writing songs together, and we that old band fizzled out, but we kind of weren't done playing, and we were like, well, let's do something new, and let's make it overtly feminist, and let's call it War on Women. And oh cool, I've got some heavier songs that we could work with us. And around the same time, I discovered the organization Hollaback, which is an anti-street harassment organization. Now, a decade later, it's like an anti every kind of harassment organization, identity-based harassment organization. But I started the Baltimore chapter 10 years ago. And so for a while, I was like doing my activism and then also doing this band. And I eventually was realizing I was just spread too thin. And I wasn't like, because I also had a job, and I also like needed to watch TV sometimes and do my laundry and get my oil changed. So at some point, I kind of had to choose between them. And War on Women at the time just had a bigger reach, a bigger audience, a bigger potential influence. And I thought, well, maybe if I just use my powers for good over here, I can maybe reach more people. And it took me a little while to realize, like, this can be activism too. Like I'm not putting activism away just so I could play in a band. Like I can really think about how I want to affect the world for good while in the band. It can be both, basically.
Yeah, that's super interesting. And like I said before, most of your songs touch on like sexism, sexual harassment. One of like one that I was like reading right now through the lyrics was your song YouTube Comments.
Yeah.
So which
technically I didn't write the lyrics to that, right? Like they're all actual comments left on YouTube or online talking about our band.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so interesting because it's like these people make you uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, it's like thanks for the song. Thanks, guys. If you want us to stop writing music, then stop being sexist, and we'll have nothing to sing about. That's fine. That's totally fine.
Right.
Cut it out, guys.
So what's the process like when writing these songs?
Oh, well, I think I have the podcast called But Her Lyrics, and the first season, I'm about to start the second season, but the first season just takes a deep dive into every single song off our most recent album. And so if anyone's interested in that, like really wanting to know the nitty gritty of like how we write these songs, recording, what the songs are about, I also talk to experts about the topics I sing about, so we can learn more about what we can do. But generally, and I do mention this on the podcast, none of us really limit the way that we write songs, or really it's more like we're open to however a song wants to come to us, and we don't try to just stick to one thing. And I think that really helps keep the songs from all sounding the same. But sometimes I know every now and again Brooks, our guitar player, he'll like dream a riff and like wake up and like have to go like record it real fast so he doesn't forget it, which I think is hilarious and amazing. And I will, you know, sometimes I'll just be reading a book and I'll be highlighting things I think are cool. And then I'll go back and be like, can I just make any of these lyrics? Can I just like pick these themes apart and like turn it into a song? So I've done that a couple times. And so it doesn't always start with a riff. It doesn't always start with a melody. Like we really do change it up so that we can just allow, because the point is for like to have good songs.
Yeah.
Like there's no like pride in how they come about. It doesn't matter. Like let's just make the best song so we can.
And you're like insanely talented, first of all. I was reading
You don't know that.
I do. I was reading some of the articles that you wrote for Vice, which my God, they're super interesting, but I feel like we could be here all day because Warped Tour is something else. But in an article you wrote for Vice, you mentioned activist burnout. How do you handle that burnout? And then what also keeps you inspired to keep creating?
I don't fucking know anymore because of the pandemic. Like activist burnout, pandemic brain, just like trying, like how do you make money when there's no unemployment? Because the thing you do usually it means getting in front of a crowd, you know, like I don't know. I'm just doing my best. And I think right now the thing that I'm doing that's helpful is like trying to practice gratitude and be like really thankful for the small things. Just the security of a roof over my head, food every day. I have a dog that I love that likes to cuddle at night and watch TV with me, you know. So like I just try to be grateful and remind myself of those things and that not everyone even has those things. But I think, you know, adding to that, like just being patient with yourself when you realize, like every now and again, I'm just like, I can't stare at the computer anymore. Like I have to do something else, or I have to take a nap, or I need a break, or, you know, like just being patient with myself and not stressing out about the fact that I need breaks sometimes, like, because that just adds to the stress, you know, like why stress about that?
Yeah.
You're already stressed out and that's why you need a break. So just trying to not add to the stress of just living through this time. And so that can be difficult. And so that's going to look differently for everybody. Maybe that's taking a bath and lighting candles, or maybe it's watching TV, or it's smoking weed, or maybe it's petting the dog, you know, whatever it is. Just giving yourself that grace to do what you need to do. I think that's really, really important right now.
Yeah. Oh my God, especially during the pandemic, I feel like musicians are kind of going through this like weird, still trying to find a way to perform, but still trying to keep within like the limitations of being everyone's
and it's safe and then it's not safe. It's safe and it's not safe. You know, indoor, outdoor, like, yeah, it's maddening. And like having things get booked and then canceled, it's just such a bummer to go through that over and over again. And so, you know, I'm also trying to, one part of my self-care right now and avoid burnout is to manage my expectations and just know that like everything we have booked for this year, it might get canceled. That's fine. Let it go. Like, let it go now. The idea of like the fact that I'm going to go on a tour, like maybe I won't, and that's fine. And I'll believe it when I'm on stage at the first show, you know?
Yeah. Because this interview is inspired by Women's History Month, I have to ask, who are some women in your life that inspire you?
My mom, for sure. She just finished treatment for cancer, radiation, and the other one, chemotherapy. And she's good to go now, and she's starting to be able to get her COVID vaccinations. Because I haven't been able to see her this whole time, basically. So, which has been really hard, and that I'm looking forward to seeing her again in person, because she lives in another state. So, yeah, it's just been difficult. And I thought you were going to ask me about someone from history. I was like ready for my answer, but
No,
like,
we can do
real
any
well,
woman,
just
any industry.
like I have a lot of amazing like female friends and who are also like happily child free. And so I also like envision that we're going to be growing old together and doing a Golden Girls thing. And so I love them dearly. But right when you asked me, the first woman that ran for president, Victoria Woodhull, came to mind. She's someone like I read her biography when I was in elementary school. I stole the book from my elementary school and I still have it. I hope they replaced it so that another little girl could be inspired. Sorry guys. It's like I loved it so much. I just held on to it and I never returned it and they never asked for it. It's very strange. So
it was meant to be.
Yeah, so I fully admit I'm not a perfect person. I've made mistakes. But just like the things that she put up with in like this very like rigid Victorian era of the United States, and just like how daring, just these things that we take for granted today, just like eating in a restaurant without a man present, like that was a big deal back then. And so like she not only did that, but she ran for president when women couldn't even vote, and was into like free love, which I assume like by today's standards would be like polyamory or something. And so she is a free spirit that I try to channel sometimes, of the not giving a fuckedness of it all, you know?
No, and you're definitely an inspiring woman yourself.
Thank you. That's lovely. Thank you.
Something that I also like really like about you is that you've said that you're not satisfied waiting for change. And seeing as how you wrote a book about creating safe spaces, what are things that we in the music scene, whether that be listeners or performers or journalists, can do to contribute to a safer and more inclusive environment?
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is that everyone can do something, and it doesn't have to be expensive or like a big deal. Like you don't have to change everything about your life or your venue or the way you do things. It really is just like adding little things when you can. Kind of like if you are trying to be more like earth friendly in your house, you don't go throw away every single chemical in your house in the garbage and buy all new stuff. It's like you just replace one thing at a time when it runs out, you know, like that's the most conscious way to do it. So, and it's the best way that, you know, that you're going to stick with it too. If you try to change everything all at once, it's too much and you might just revert back to the old ways. But if you do one thing at a time, add one thing at a time, like you're more likely to stick with it. So I'd say in general, everyone should learn the 5 Ds of bystander intervention, which was developed by Hollaback. And it's something that I teach people all the time. I also have it in my book. And I think Hollaback is actually coming out with a book all about it really soon. And I think it's called I've Got Your Back. So everybody check that out. But yeah, the 5 Ds of just learning how to intervene when you see a situation that looks off, even if you don't know if someone's being harassed or not, but if someone maybe looks uncomfortable, there's always something you can do. And quickly, just so everybody knows, go Google this, but it's direct, distract, delegate, document, and delayed. But just go learn about those. And then I would say to anyone in a band or working at a venue, if you have some sort of power, like one, acknowledge that you do, right? It's a little different than just being in the audience. You have some sort of power or authority in those positions. And so therefore you should be able to do a little bit more and ask more from your audience. Ask, like share a link to the 5 Ds online and say, get ready, learn these before you come to the show so you can all watch out for each other, right? Bands can put safety stuff in their riders, you know, they can ask about, you know, are there gender affirming restrooms on site and what's their anti-harassment policy? You know, check on those things in advance. And then venues, I wrote a whole book for you. So, you know, let's see, I keep a copy right here. because I forget what's inside it, if I'm being honest. But like, it's only $15, so you don't have to pay for me to train you. Get the book, read up, and there's going to be things you can do immediately, like putting up signage, updating your policies, and making sure everybody on your staff knows how to respond to a complaint of harassment in a way that's victim-centered and doesn't make the situation worse. That's the most important stuff. But we can all do that now. We can be doing that now, especially with safety, COVID safety on everyone's mind. It's not that much of a leap to also just say like, hey, are you okay? If you see someone that looks uncomfortable, that's it. That's all we got to do.
Yeah. And to, I guess, kind of go back to you as like a person and like your whole career, you do so much for the music scene. What's something you want to accomplish in this lifetime?
Oh, goodness. I don't know how much I do for the music scene. I don't know.
Do a good amount.
I just like playing shows, and hopefully I get to do more of that in a way that's safe for everyone involved, the band and people attending. I really do have this dream of like being on some sort of late night TV show. I really would love that very much. And so I just keep putting that out into the universe. If any of Seth Meyers people, Colbert, I love you, Colbert, like, you know, we're available. I'd love to perform for you. I'll give you good TV. Your audience will love it. No, I'm sure they won't. But maybe Seth Meyers.
It'll reach somebody.
It'll be good TV, even if your audience doesn't like it, like in the studio, it'll still make good TV, I promise. I just think that'd be fun, a fun thing to do to check off the list. But honestly, I'm very lucky to be able to do what I'm already doing, you know, like I've been to Europe, like that's already cool to me. I've been to Australia. What the fuck? I've been to Australia. Like that's amazing. Touring the US and like making friends in other bands and getting to see them every few years, you know, like that's really, really cool. So I'm already very grateful for what I've been able to do. And I know how fleeting this is and how little it has to do with talent or hard work. Like it's often dumb luck. And I'm happy to take advantage of any dumb luck that comes my way, while also trying to write good songs and do my best.
And for my last question, what is one piece of advice you have for women in the music industry?
Oh my gosh. I go back and forth sometimes when I'm asked something like this. Because like there's the feminist killjoy in me wants to be like, take no shit. But honestly, like it's also strategic to like take shit sometimes, even when you know that it's bullshit, right? Like to just go, okay, say your dumb little sexist thing. I'm gonna still do my job over here, you know, like it is like pretending to ignore something or not choosing to let someone else's shit like get to you, like that is a valid response to harassment. It's not weakness. It's not, you're not letting womankind down by getting through your day, you know, like accomplishing your job, your goals, whatever. And so I don't know, but the thing that sucks is that it's a delicate dance, and we don't always know when to raise hell and when to let something slide for like the greater good of our career or the mood for the day or everyone else around it, you know. It's tough. It's fucking tough. And that's the really unfair part, is that we have to think about all those things and weigh all the options, when we really should just be able to say, oh, that's sexist, don't say that again, okay, bye. You know, like it should just be that easy. And unfortunately it's not. And so I'd say one good thing would probably be to get a good support system around you, get good friends, get mentors. I don't think we have enough mentors in this industry, like people we can really turn to. And it's been really helpful for me to have a couple people in my life that are farther along than me or at a different place than me that I can check in about stuff that are also women that understand what it's like to go through things that are difficult. So just being able to talk to other people and workshop ideas. How am I going to deal with this asshole at work? Like sometimes that's all we need, is just to like talk it out with people that understand. I think that's more valuable than we remember sometimes, especially in the pandemic, when I don't want to get on Zoom all the time. I don't want to make phone calls all the time and my hands hurt from texting, but it's important. It's important to talk it out. So get that support system. And, if you get to the point where you're tired of taking the shit, then don't. Then fucking don't. And find a place that values you for what you can bring to the table,
Mm-hmm.
And practice.
No, that's really good advice.
I hope, it's okay advice. It's okay advice. General, but it's very general. But hopefully it helps, to just remember to count on your friends, and the right answer will reveal itself.
All right. Well, that was my last question. Thank you so much for chatting with me. You are truly an inspiration. And I can't wait to see what War and Woman puts out in the future.
Hey, me too. I got to work on some lyrics. Yeah, I got to work on some lyrics. I'm a little behind on some demos, so wish me luck.
If there's anything you want to like plug, any social medias, anything people should check out.
Yeah, definitely check out my podcast, But Her Lyrics. You can find information about that and all the trainings I provide and my book at shawnapotter.com. That's the best thing. Just go to shawnapotter.com and you can check out everything that I do. And if there's a university in your town or a big venue or some corporate business that, you want to spend some of their money, have them reach out to me for a safer space training or a bystander intervention training.
Cool. Thank you so much, Shawna.